Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Gillian Berry, and today we have an epic, incredible, iconic guest for you guys. We have Ted Carr. He is very well known in the community. He is a long-term fruitarian, and he has recently had some massive gains in the gym. His muscles, he is looking amazing. And this really caught my eye on his YouTube channel and on his Instagram page. Go follow him if you don't already. I'll link it below. And I was like, I have to have Ted back on. Look at how he's transformed. You always looked great, Ted, but this has been a really big transformation lately. And we have a lot of hard hitting questions from all my viewers about, is he on steroids? Is it this? Oh my gosh, this isn't natural. A lot of amazing, nice stuff too, though. Don't worry. So let's get right into it. Hey, Ted, how's it going?
It's going great. You've upped your game. Last time we spoke, you were a lot more soft and mellow, and now you're like a pro at this. Way to go.
Thanks. Yeah, I've
You've
done.
transformed.
No, the last time we interviewed, the most embarrassing thing ever happened to me because for like for like 10 minutes, you were like, we were trying to talk and you were like, we couldn't hear each other. And then I realized my volume was off on the computer. I'm like, wow, he must think I'm the biggest idiot of all time. So I've definitely upped my game because my sound is on. So yeah, no, things are good. I love interviewing. So let's talk about you. That's why we're here. And so what the heck? How did you reach this huge transformation on a fruit-based diet?
Yes, there's really three phases. There's three phases I went through. We'll assume I'm on phase 3 right now, which is quote unquote looking incredible. Phase 1 was back when I was a triathlete. I just did a ton of cardio. And so I was training like 30, 40 hours a week, swimming, biking, running, and doing like no strength training. There's a video I just found of me actually doing like my first bench press, and it was just like the bar with like a 5-pound plate on each side. Like that's the extent I was going, like a 5-pound plate. So I was doing nothing back then. I trained for triathlon. I was public on social media about my triathlon training for like 7 years. So everyone knows me. Everyone has this like, stick figure image of me online for the most part. And then phase 2 began when I quit triathlon and I started to get into some strength training. And I started to incorporate some cooked food, thinking that would help build muscle. And what I ended up doing is eating way too much cooked food because it's so addictive. And I just gained a bunch of fat, and I got kind of fat, and I didn't look good. I just looked bigger. And started strength training at the same time I was eating cooked food. And so I got bigger, but there was no real definition at all. You wouldn't like put me on a cover of a magazine or anything. There's nothing, didn't look that great. And then I pretty much stayed like I didn't get any stronger for a few years. I just, my pull-ups stayed at like 18 pull-ups. My bench press stayed at like 135-pound bench press. Like nothing got stronger for years. I just like worked out, but I wasn't like trying to improve and get stronger week after week after week like I am now. So I wasn't training properly. And so that's phase 2. I just got bigger and I was a dude that worked out. That's it. Phase 3 happened about 3-4 months ago, where I started to really dial back my calories, like eat the right amount of calories so that I wasn't overeating, so that you can actually see the muscles I had under all that fat, and cut back my training load. So rather than training like 5 days a week, I now train 3 days a week, which gives me an extra 2 days of pure recovery. And when I work out, my workouts are only like 30 minutes long, rather than being an hour and a half long. Rather than doing like 3 sets of everything in the gym, I do 1, maybe 2 sets of everything in the gym. Like I'll walk up to the shoulder press, boom, do my shoulder press. I'm done. I don't touch shoulders for the rest of the workout. Or I'll go and do biceps. 1 set of bicep curls, done.
Wow.
I don't do like 3, 4, 5 sets like I used to. So this is phase 3 now. I give my muscles the right amount of stimulus to say, hey, wake up, we need you to be stronger. And I give them the right amount of recovery and regeneration time so they can actually grow. And I eat just the right amount of calories. Like I said, not too much so that I get fat, and not too little so that they can't recover. So this phase 3 is like me training very smart now. And so this is why we have this new version of me 3.0, if you will.
Wow, it is 3.0. This is the best TED version ever. Wow. Well, every TED version's been great, but this is very interesting to me. And so I'm wondering, I know a lot of people think on a fruit-based diet, you just don't feel like you have the strength or the energy in the gym. A lot of people, I think you need like the animal-based products and like maybe you need the cooked food to like have the strength to do these workouts and stuff. So what are you currently eating in a day? And do you feel like you have the strength and energy to get through those workouts?
Yeah, there's 3 types of days that I'll have. One type is fully raw and fully fruit. So it's just fruit throughout the day. And this this happens the easiest in summertime, or this happens the easiest when like I get a new shipment of like persimmons in or mangoes in or something like really, really epic. Like in a perfect world, I would just eat fruit all day long. So that's like one type of day, just fruit for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then the second kind of day that I'll have is I always have fruit for breakfast. And then I'll have a salad with guacamole or avocado on top for dinner. So I typically do 2 meals a day. I rarely do breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's typically just breakfast and dinner. So it's still raw. It's fruit and then salad with guacamole or guacamole and cucumbers or something high fat in the evening time. And then the third type of day I'll have is where I'll do fruit for breakfast, like a big fruit smoothie for breakfast. And then I'll have some cooked food in the evening time. And the cooked food in the evening time is like half a cup of rice, or at the most 1 cup of rice, or half a cup of quinoa, at the most 1 cup of quinoa with some guacamole. So very simple. It's like single ingredient cooked food followed by a bunch of guacamole. And that's it. It's just,
if you were eating like a lot more cooked food, do you think it would be a difference in how you feel when you work out and stuff like that?
All I know is that when I do eat cooked food, the less cooked food I eat, the better I feel. Let's just say that. With the more cooked food I eat, the heavier I feel, the more foggy I feel, the more moody I feel, the more like almost like sad I feel, the more tired I feel. It's just the less I eat, the better I feel. When I'm on full fruit, full raw, I'm like a best version for sure.
And it's interesting because before we got on here, you were saying like, you know, people could be eating McDonald's or whatever and still get the same type of fitness physique, right? And I think it's so true. I think there's just so much that people think like you can't reach these things on a fruit diet, or like it's all the diet they think. But I think so much of it is just like the actual workouts, right?
Yeah. So there's the diet, there's the workouts, and then there's the lifestyle. That's like how you recover in between the workouts. And if you take any drugs or anything, So if you're like, I was telling you earlier, before the show, I was like, I could be eating McDonald's right now and look the exact same way they look now. The food you eat isn't going to determine how you look per se. That just comes down to the amount of calories you have. Now, obviously, if I was eating a bunch of gluten or something, sure, I'd maybe have acne. So sure, I would look a bit different maybe. Or if I was eating too much salt, to be a bit puffier or something, or I'd be a bit more inflamed or whatnot. But for the most part, I would look pretty much the same. But the issue is most people on vegan or raw vegan, they don't eat the appropriate amount of calories to look their best, because it's very easy to eat too little. All you got to do is like restrict yourself. Just do a water fast or just do a juice feast even, and you're going to be under eating on calories for the most part. Or overeat. That's also easy to do. Just blindly go through your day and eat whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. So it's very easy to overdo it. It's very easy to be on either end of the spectrum. I can get fat and I can get skinny super easily. I just either don't eat or eat too much. Anyone can do that. The hard part is what I'm doing now. It's like the training smarter, eating smarter, is eating the appropriate amount of calories. So just enough so that your muscles can recover and get stronger, but not too much that you get fat.
And how many? Do you calculate them or no?
I don't. I use something called satiety sensing. So I'm in tune with how I feel. And everybody knows when they've eaten too much.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Everyone knows when they've eaten too much. And a lot of people also know if they've undereaten. They go to bed hungry, they wake up hungry. Like you can feel that. So I like to go to bed on what I call like the razor's edge, where it's like I could eat more. Like if I close my eyes and think about eating another 5 bananas, I could eat 5 bananas. But I also don't need to eat 5 bananas. Like I'm good. I could just totally fall asleep right now. And again, I very structured with my training, and I track every lift I do. And so I know I'm eating the right amount of food if I'm constantly getting stronger every single week. If I wasn't getting stronger every week, I'd be under eating.
No, you're having great results. Like you should have, do you have a fitness program out? Are you working on one or no, for like the fruit-based people?
Yeah, I'm working on one. I'm going to give it away for free. I'm not going to sell it. So I was thinking of putting together a program and selling it and all that, but I was like, I don't want to have another thing to sell. I just want to give it away for free. If anyone asks for it, just take it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Take it.
That's good. So, and like as a guy, do you feel more confident now with like more like fitness gains and more muscle and more strength, or does it not affect like how you feel about yourself at all?
It definitely, it's just like, well, I mean, you know what it feels like to be more beautiful versus
I feel better if I'm working out and I'm like, I was in a good routine a few months ago and I feel it gives me more confidence. Just makes me feel happier.
And a lot of people think like, oh, you shouldn't care what other people think about how you look, whatever. And the truth is like, well, we do care about how we look, and we do care about how other people think. That's why your hair right now isn't a big mess. You straightened it for this call, right? And there's a reason I don't have stains on my t-shirt right now, because if I had stains, I go change my shirt. I don't want people to see, oh, Ted's got stains on his shirt. Like we obviously care about how we look to a degree. But the craziest thing for me, I probably get like the most, this might sound like conceited or something, I'm not sure if that's the right word, but like the biggest like shock value I get from this new version of myself, if you will, is like when I look in the mirror, I'm like, holy shit, that's me after a workout. I'm like, that's crazy. I've never had this physique before. It's like, feels so brand new. And so I think like, if you look in the mirror and you're not happy with how you look, you can change that. I was never happy with how I looked before. I was just too freaking skinny, and then I became too fat. And I was always like, oh, how do I actually look like good? And it
Were
hasn't been
people
until
when you
recently.
were skinny, were people around you like, "Oh, Ted, you're too skinny. This fruit diet's not working." Was there any of that or no?
At the very start, yeah, for sure. But then I got into triathlon. I started like winning races, and then people just associated my physique with like winning races. So it kind of had that positive association. Then I got into doing like 100 squats a day. I had like this 100 squats a day campaign going on. And then everyone said I had nice legs because they were also waxed at the time. um, but then, yeah, I started just gaining too much weight, and I just had a completely average physique for a few years. And it hasn't been, it wasn't until I started cutting back the calories that things started to look a lot better.
Wow, interesting. Okay. And so other than cutting back the calories, like what has inspired you to, because you've had a great transformation, like what has inspired you to do this and kept you inspired to keep moving forward with it?
I think I got to a point where I was just fed up. I'm like, dude, I've been training like pretty
Yeah.
good for like 2 or 3 years. I'm not seeing the results. What am I doing? And I knew it was what I was doing. I was eating too much. I was eating too much. And I was like, dude, just cut it out. Like, quit fucking around and do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought the biggest block for me was I don't want to be hungry. I was like, I think I'd rather be fat and never have to deal with hunger. That was my whole like justification for staying, I wasn't fat, but I was definitely overweight. And so I was like, I would just rather eat as much as I want and not have to worry about calories and not have to feel like I'm restricting myself. But at the same time, like, but I do want to look sick. I do want to look really good because I know I got that potential.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not doing the vegan movement any good. I'm not doing the fruitarian movement any good. I'm not doing the raw vegan movement any good by just looking average. And I'm like, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be me. So let's do it.
And you've done it.
So then I found a way now to, like I said, eat enough so I'm on the razor's edge where I actually don't experience hunger. Even if in a calorie deficit, it's not like really hunger. It's just like I said, I could eat, but I don't need to. And it's just some discipline, It's like, hey, it'd be much easier to leave your kitchen a mess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why bother cleaning? It's just leave it. Fuck it.
My kitchen's a mess right now. Yeah.
Yeah, just leave it a mess. Who cares? That's no discipline. Anyone can leave their kitchen a mess. It's the people who always keep their kitchen super clean that you respect.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the physique. Anyone can be fat. It's the people who got their calories dialed in, their physique looks incredible that you respect. We wouldn't be having this podcast right now if I was overeating.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
No. Yeah.
So
True.
it's just a disciplined thing that you respect yourself, others respect you. You have respect for other people when they're disciplined in any respect, whether it's art, music, business, relationships, right? Discipline is like a very attractive trait.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. So true.
I think it bleeds into other areas of your life too. Discipline
Mm-hmm.
with your fitness is much more likely to be disciplined with your business and relationships and everything. So
Reminds me of Jim Rohn. You like Jim Rohn too, right?
love Jim Rohn.
He just what a legend. I was listening to him the other day. He has like one of the best, it's like 2 or 4 hours long, one of his videos on YouTube. I forget which one where he's standing up giving a speech. It's
Chalkboard?
yeah, that's the best video on YouTube. I love it. I will link it below. The guy's just like, I wish he was around today. I couldn't imagine interviewing him. Wow.
I love him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing. Well, okay. So I'd love to get into some of the viewers' questions. I have quite a few questions here. I think we have there's quite a few. Okay, so the first question said, did Ted do prolonged water fasts? How much exogenous TRT per week did he take while on the transformation program? Thank you so much.
Was there 2 questions in one?
Yeah, that's 2 questions in one.
So prolonged water fast, I guess everyone has a different definition for what that would mean. I don't know what they mean by that. I've done several water fasts. I'm a fan of short water fasts. I'm a fan of the 24-hour fast. I'm a fan of the 48-hour fast. I'm a fan of the 3-day fast. After that, I'm not so much of a fan of. I don't think they're usually necessary. I'd rather do several 3-day fasts throughout my life versus like one big long one. I've just felt way better doing shorter fasts. So yeah, I've done a few of those. I've also done a few dry fasts, very short dry fasts, and I like those as well. But those, yeah, you need to be smart about those. I educated myself a ton before doing those. I watched like dozens and dozens of hours of people talking about them, and I did my research before just jumping into one. So I'm a fan. As for the TRT, no, if I was on TRT, my results would be insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And who knows, in the future, when I'm like 50, 60, 70, 80, TRT sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there's no
Mm-hmm. Okay.
point in taking it now when I'm already like at my almost peak, you know?
Yeah, no, you look great. What you're doing is clearly working and you feel good, right? It's all about like, how do you feel? Do you feel good? Do you feel happy? Do you feel like mentally healthy, physically healthy?
Yeah. Yeah. And the big part of that, like I said, there's the diet, there's the fitness, and there's the lifestyle. And my lifestyle, I'm in such a routine right now. I've got it so dialed in. My morning routine, epic. Midday routine, which is happening right after this podcast, epic. Evening routine, epic. Like my whole Monday to Friday, even the weekends are like dialed in. I'm got the lifestyle dialed in. I'm very happy with that.
Good. I'm happy about that. Okay, the next question says he looks great. Wow. How long did it take for him to adjust to a fruit-based lifestyle? That's the first question.
Fruit-based lifestyle, adjust. I don't know what you mean by adjust. I just started eating more
Well,
fruits.
I guess because you've been on a fruit-based lifestyle for a long time, really, right? But yeah, I guess so. When you initially went fruit-based, how long did it take you to adjust to that lifestyle? I know a lot of people can have a hard time getting used to the new lifestyle, kicking the cravings, like all that.
I probably made, let's just say this, I probably made the majority of my mistakes in the first 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Okay.
primary mistake was not eating enough. And I think a sub-primary mistake was just not buying enough. You can't eat enough if you don't buy enough. And so I one day, I never forget this, I noticed this, where I went to the cupboard to like grab some cooked food, and I stopped. I say, wait, what have I eaten today? And I like did the calories in my head. I'm like, I've only had like 400 calories today. No wonder I'm going for the cupboard food.
Yeah.
So in that moment, I'm like, wait, let's do an experiment. Let's go fill up on fruit and then see if I still want the cupboard food, which is cooked food. So I went and made a smoothie, drank it. Afterwards, I'm like, I don't want that cupboard. That stuff's garbage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in that moment I realized that, hey, there's cravings when I'm undercaloried. And if I eat enough, I don't have the cravings.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. And okay, so she said, as far as inflammatory aches and pains, how was his level before and then after? So I'm not sure if maybe they mean before fruitarian versus after, or before the fitness
I was
transformation or
so
after.
young. I started when I was 19. I didn't really have any inflammatory aches and pains.
Yeah. But you had a lot of stuff, like you had bad acne before, right? You had a lot of
Yeah.
things transform.
Yeah. My acne was definitely very, yeah, very noticeable. Face, chest, back. And then that went away within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So here's the
Wow.
thing though. I tried to clear it up on raw vegan, high fat raw vegan, did not get any better. My acne got better in stages. It got better when I cut out dairy. It got better when I cut out gluten. It did not get better when I cut out all cooked food. Because I was eating so many nuts and seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And then I cut out the fat, and on low fat, boom, within 2 weeks, overt fat free, gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Interesting. Amazing. And okay, so one more question of theirs before more fitness questions. So they said if he lives in a temperate climate, like yeah, you live in the cold, how has it been for him during the winter months?
This is a funny thing. I'm assuming she's talking about like, do you crave cooked food in the winter, and is it hard to be raw in the winter? There's a few things that can be said about this. In fact, I wrote a whole book about this with Chris Kendall. We called it the Raw Vegan Winter Survival Guide.
Yeah.
But the primary points here are like, number one, the quality of fruit's probably going to be less in the wintertime because you're not getting any local stuff. It's all imported.
Yeah.
But you do have persimmons to look forward to, right?
Yeah.
And I'd never get sick of really good smoothies that are made up of frozen fruits like bananas and berries. Like I never get sick of that. It's always good. So you can get by with delicious fruit in the wintertime. It is possible. You just gotta be smart about it. But the second piece to this is most people, most raw vegans get cold in the wintertime because they're eating cold food. They're eating frozen food or food from the fridge. That's
Yeah.
how it's preserved. And so the trick is to either thaw out the food before eating it, eat it at room temperature, or, and that's what I do, or something else I do is I will make the cold smoothie or make the cold ice cream, whatever, and eat it while I'm in the sauna or in the bathtub.
Oh, wow. That's a good, yeah, that's good. I've done that before too.
You have to, otherwise you're going to be
Yeah.
frickin' freezing. Then you're going to blame the diet, and then you're going to think, oh, it'd be nice to have a nice cup of, hot this or that.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you want that, fine. But here's the thing also, if people think like, oh, in the wintertime I need cooked food to keep warm, well, it doesn't make sense because in the summertime when it's hot, people are still eating cooked food,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not to
It's
keep
so
it warm.
true. Yeah, right.
People
Good
go
point.
to the vegan community in Thailand. The cooked vegan community in Thailand is huge. All these vegans go to Thailand thinking they're going to eat all this fruit, but then their cooked food addiction, comes with them on the plane. When they get to Thailand, all they do is keep eating all this cooked food in Thailand. It's not to keep warm. You're eating it because you're addicted to it.
Hmm.
Done.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the next question they said, so is he back to a fruit-based raw vegan diet or is he still eating cooked? Was he really able to achieve that amazing physique on a raw fruit-based diet with working out, of course, but oh my God, Ted, you look incredible.
Yeah, so on the days I eat cooked food, it's either 300 to 600 calories of cooked food because it's either half a cup of rice or half a cup of quinoa, dry, which is like 300 calories, or it's a full cup, which is like 600 calories. So if I am having cooked food in a day, it's like 300 to 600 calories. And the majority of my days, I'm doing maybe like 2,000 calories. So what percentage is 300 of 2,000? I don't quite know the math on that, but it's probably like, oh, it's maybe like, well, if I was doing 1,000, I was doing 300, that'd be, it's probably like, I don't know, 25% tops calories from cooked food. I think that's too much, maybe.
Too much. Yeah, even less than that. Quinoa has
Maybe
some
less than that.
benefits too. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's it. It's like ideally, like I said, ideally I feel my best on just fruit, but if I am having some cooked food, it's half a cup or a cup.
Okay. And on this new workout routine, somebody's asking how much sleep does he need and why are stimulants bad for your body?
Sleep's a good one. Here's a trick with sleep. It works very well for me. I don't set an alarm. I wake up whenever my body wants to get up, whether it's 4 a.m. or whether it's 6 a.m. That's like my range. And I track my sleep with this Aura ring.
Oh, do you like? My mom
It's,
was gonna buy me one of those for Christmas. Is it good? You like it?
it's amazing. Yeah, it tells you exactly what time you fell asleep, what time you woke up. It's so good. So I'll wake up between 4 and 6 a.m., but I'll pretty much always go to bed at 8 p.m. So my bedtime is pretty strict. I have alarms that go off in the house to remind me, hey, go to bed, go to bed. And I'm pretty much always in bed before those alarms go off. But then my wake up time is whenever my body feels like it's ready to get up. And what I found since tracking with an Aura over the past year now, I've had it for about a year, is in the wintertime, I sleep much more like a bear in hibernation.
Wow.
Like I'll average like 10-hour sleeps or 9-hour sleeps.
Wow.
Whereas in the summertime, I'll average like 6 or 7 hours of sleep. It's a
Hmm.
huge difference. And I think it's just because of the amount of light. In summertime, it's bright at 6 a.m. and it's bright till 9 p.m., whatever. In the wintertime, it's dark till freaking 9 a.m. It doesn't get bright until 9 a.m. and it's dark at like 4 again. So I sleep much more in the wintertime. And I think the trick, yeah, you just have to let your body sleep in. Be diligent with your bedtime, but let your body sleep in. So I do sleep quite a bit. As for the other question, it was,
Why are stimulants bad for your body?
well, it's funny because people consider them like they drink like coffee for energy or tea for energy, right?
Hmm.
But if you look at like if you draw it out as a graph, you realize that let's say you drink a cup of coffee and you get energy for like 3 hours. Okay, it's like they come up with 3 hours, maybe 4 hours. You're like kind of focused or something. So 4 hours of energy up. Everything after that up period, you start to come down and feel worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So now
Hmm.
you have another 4 hours of down. So now it's already evened out, and now you're back to like baseline. But now you have to go below baseline because you don't just end up at baseline. Now you go below baseline to recover from the stimulant. Now let's say you're like, a day under baseline, you're recovering from that coffee you had yesterday.
Hmm.
And now you're below baseline. Now you still have to recover and come back up to baseline. So you're spending like, when you have a cup of coffee, you're going to spend the next couple days recovering from it, whereas you only benefited from it for like 4 hours.
Yeah, it's not worth
So,
it.
so would you call a protein bar if it had 1 gram of protein and 80 grams of carbs? Of course
Hmm.
not, because only 1 gram of protein.
Hmm.
Well, why would you call coffee or an energy drink when you're spending 80%, 90% of the time recovering from that drink?
True.
It like
True.
you would never do that. You call an avocado a fatty food because it's majority fat, right?
True.
You don't say avocado is a carbohydrate food because it's freaking 5 grams of carbs in there. No, it's so you got to call it like what it is.
Hmm. Yeah.
Call a spade, as they
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. So true. Okay. And they were also asking, what are your favorite savory recipes? I'm not sure if you have one or two you want to share.
I'm not a chef or an expert in the kitchen by any means. I'm pretty much like a does it taste good kind of guy, and if it does, keep eating it. So I don't even really know what savory is. Would you enlighten me what savory means?
I think they mean like, like the raw pastas with the tomato sauces and like all that sort of stuff. I think.
Does it have to have tomato sauce?
No, whatever. Like any recipes
Okay,
at
I'll
all.
give you my favorite 2 sauces of all time, okay?
Yeah.
These will blow your mind.
Okay.
Okay, favorite 2 sauces. You can put these on, they're best on peeled zucchini noodles. Okay, but here they are. They're so simple. And don't ask me for ratios. You can figure this out. But unlimited fresh basil. No dried basil, fresh basil. Here we go. So ingredient, recipe number 1. Mango, date, basil. Blend up mangoes with dates with fresh basil. No water, no lemon. You can add a green onion if you want, but not necessary. And then just pour that over nice and thick. Absolutely delicious. I can have that every single day. Second recipe, persimmon, date, basil. Blend it up, pour it on. Thank me later. You'll want to eat that for months.
So easy. It's so easy too.
Easy.
I like stuff that's just easy, you know, not complicated.
3 ingredients.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the next one, they said, I look forward to him sharing his story. I find it, they're just saying they find it, some people are, okay, I'm going to skip that one because they were saying they find it a bit sad. A lot of people are assuming that it's steroids. So, okay.
You can, and here's the thing about steroids too, is like, you can go look at guys who are on steroids. Like a lot of there's channels on YouTube of guys who are actually on steroids and they talk about it openly. They're huge.
Yeah.
And they're so strong.
Yeah.
They're huge and they're so strong. I'm not huge and I'm not so strong. The other thing about steroids too is you can see people lifting on YouTube, or you can see like their diary, their journal of how they've lifted. And when people start taking steroids, there's an immediate spike in how strong they are.
Wow. But
there's no immediate spike in my training log. It's just very progressive. Like I've increased by like 2.5 pounds, 5 pounds, week after week, very, very slow.
And you haven't taken any steroids at all you've never tested with them or anything?
Tested with them?
Like you've never tried them out at all? Wow. Yeah. I didn't think you were either. Yeah. Okay, cool. And okay. So
because I have a history of acne, if I did take them, you'd see it on my skin. I wouldn't have clear skin. Some people don't get acne with steroids, but that's because they're not prone to acne to begin with. But the people who are prone to acne to begin with, if they do take steroids, I see guys at my gym, they're like 30, 40 years old. They got zits all over their back. I'm like, bro, you're clearly on roids. I guess they don't mind, but some of them deny it. I'll ask them like, hey, are you natty or not? And they're like, yeah, I'm natty. I'm like, bro, I know you're not fucking natty. Look at your skin. Look at your bulging muscles.
Yeah.
Steroid users too. Another way to tell the difference is steroid users always look puffed out and jacked. I only look puffed out and jacked right after a workout and in good lighting at the current moment, at least. Like if I was on roids, I'd always look good. I could take my shirt off right now and you'd be like, whoa. I'm not taking my shirt off right now.
Let's see. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. No, I know. Okay, the next one, Marcus was asking, what supplements does he use?
Yeah, I take a few, and I take a few just to be safe. I take a few because I figure why not? So one of them is like B12. I might as well take B12.
That's good. Yeah, I agree.
Another one, in the wintertime, I take vitamin D3. I don't take D3 in the summertime because I'm already getting heaps of sun. But in the wintertime, I take vitamin D3 because, again, why not? It's not even a vitamin, it's a hormone. Another one I take is I use a water distiller, and so my water's like got nothing in it. So I add a little drop of minerals, iodine, and some other trace minerals.
Oh, good.
And then another one is Daily Green Boost. I don't know if you consider that a supplement. It's really like a food. It's like a barley grass juice powder. And again, it's like for minerals. I also take Shilajit. Shilajit's high in minerals. I take zinc. I take a zinc, and it has a little bit of copper in there as well because that's supposed to help boost test. So zinc. And also most vegans are very low in zinc. So most vegans, regardless of if you're raw or not, you should be taking zinc, or at least ideally like a couple handfuls of pumpkin seeds every day. Yeah. I don't want the excess calories from pumpkin seeds. I'll just pop a zinc supplement.
Yeah.
And then the one that like I guess would make the most obvious difference in my appearance is creatine. So I take 5 grams of creatine per day.
Oh yeah, somebody was asking about that. Okay, cool. And okay, the next question. Did he inject fruit-based steroids into his body? No, he didn't. Okay, I follow vegan who has nice fit. They are just not a fruit eater, but I believe in the impossible. As you say, you are truthful. Gillian's friend Shane looks good too on Raw and other. I feel, okay, this is just more of a comment, not a question, sorry. And they're just complimenting you. So the next one, where does he live? Does he have trouble finding good quality fruit? Does he eat vegetables that are technically fruit, like cucumbers, tomatoes, etc.? And does he know how many calories he consumes? But we answered some of that, but.
Yeah, in terms of, I'll give people an equation to figure out how many calories they quote unquote should be eating. And this depends on your goal, obviously. If your goal is to lose weight consistently and you're the type of person to like track your calories, which I'm not. I don't like to track my calories. But if you do want to track your calories and you're curious to know how many you quote unquote should be eating to lose weight, this again, the equation I'm about to give you assumes that you're walking 10,000 steps a day and you're working out 3 times a week. Pretty basic for most people. If you're walking 10,000 steps a day and you're working out 3 times a week and you want to lose weight, just take your body weight in pounds. So let's say you weigh 150 pounds and times it by 13. And that will give you the amount of calories that you want to be eating per day.
Okay.
And if you want to gain weight, you just take your current body weight in pounds and you times it by 18. You know, and if you want to maintain your weight, you just take your current body weight in pounds and you times it by 15.
You know a lot, Ted.
Well, once someone tells you that once, you now know it.
Yeah, true. Okay. And then the next question. So she was saying too, she's skeptical and she's like, not that you can't build muscle on vegan diets. It's just very unlikely to get those results with the big capped deltoids and large traps without using something. No judgment, Ted. You look great. I just hope you're honest with your viewers. And I believe you're totally honest. But
I'm
maybe
honored. This is incredible. I'm honored. It goes to show, like, it goes to show how rookie, no offense, but goes to show how rookie these people are when it comes to being able to spot a natty or not. There's YouTube channels dedicated to natty or not, and I recommend people go watch them. It's like, I used to live on a street that was pretty busy with runners, and I'd have like, friend would be over and I'd be like, oh, what do you think of the running technique? And my friend would look at the run and be like, oh, it looks good. And I'd be like, it looks horrible. They're hunched over, they're landing on their heels. I'm like, they can't even spot a good runner or not. Then I look at a really good runner. I say, oh, what do you think of the running technique? And they're like, I don't know, it's all right. I'm like, that running technique is perfect. They're probably like a, 240 marathoner or something. Like that's insane technique right there. So I can spot good running technique, just like I can spot good cycling technique and good swimming technique. Most people can't spot good swimming technique. They don't know what good technique is. And just like I can't spot what a good golf swing is, I can't spot what a good tennis swing is. That's not my area of expertise. And I used to not be able to spot the difference between a natty or not. And a lot of people think The Rock is natural. Dwayne Johnson. A lot of people think Arnold Schwarzenegger was natural. They don't know he's on steroids because he never openly said, I was on steroids. Maybe he's mentioned it now recently or something, but most people just can't spot it. And yeah, there's different things to look for. But in terms of like the cap delts, I think she's meaning shoulders.
I think so.
Yeah, this guy's way bigger shoulders than me naturally. And what was the other muscle she said?
I think you're a nice size. I think it's like a perfect size. She said, and large traps. I don't know the fitness term, so I don't even know what that means.
Traps is like these things right here.
Oh, okay.
So there's some guys who are genetically gifted in different areas. Some guys have huge calf muscles. Some guys have very small calf muscles naturally. They don't need to do anything. They just have naturally big calves. Just like some women have naturally big boobs, some women have naturally big butts. There's nothing they need to do to build the butt. It's already huge.
Yeah.
And so for me, I guess my natural gifts is like bigger chest and bigger traps. I don't have the biggest shoulders. I don't have the biggest biceps. I don't have the biggest legs. I don't have the biggest calves. So we all have our differences there. But guys on steroids typically have, they have huge lats and they got huge shoulders. That's like a kind of a dead giveaway. But mine aren't huge. They're just, in that photo, they look really good, nice lighting, and I got a huge pump. And that day I was doing a lot of shrugs. So you can definitely pump them up for a fake picture.
Yeah, more photo shoots coming, I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's girls on Instagram who've got accounts dedicated to how to look better by changing your position and the lighting. And you look at these two differences in the same girl, right? I'm sure you've seen them. Same girl,
I've
two
seen
different
them,
angles. Yeah. One picture, you're like, oh, she's got a gut. The other picture, you're like, she's got a six pack.
Yeah.
One picture, you're like, oh, she's got cellulite. The other picture, you're like, that ass is insane.
Yeah. So true.
It's like the same chick, just different angle, and she looks incredible. And so that, with my picture, I mean, Gillian, I've probably taken like 400 photos. I've maybe uploaded 3.
Yeah, I get it.
397 of them suck.
Yeah. That's how it is. Yeah, I get it. Well, that's awesome. That's cool. And I want to say, like, to end off, do you have any advice or any inspiration for somebody out there who might be watching, especially if somebody's vegan and they're like, oh, like I want to get some gains like this. And because you do hear a lot of people who say they can't get like this.
Oh, yeah. I do want to finish off what she was saying. She said it's not likely. Here's what you need to understand about strength training and getting bigger muscles. A muscle will grow if it has to. Your biceps aren't going to get stronger just you sitting there talking to me on this podcast. It'll get stronger if it has to. Show me the vegans that are out there forcing their muscles to grow like I'm forcing mine to grow. There's very few.
Yeah.
There's very few. I demand they grow. Like I went to the gym today. I nuked my back. I nuked my biceps. They're going to grow for sure. I demand so much of them. So first off, the training is super, super key. And then there's very few people doing that. Then show me the people who are actually allowing their muscles to recover adequately, like giving it like a solid like 3-day break in between the next workout. Most people, they work out too frequently or they're too inconsistent. I'm very consistent, and I give just that Goldilocks zone amount of recovery. Because if you train your shoulders today and then you wait 2 weeks and you train them again, they're going to be just as strong as they were 2 weeks ago because you waited too long. They've now gotten weaker.
Yeah.
If you train shoulders today and you train them again tomorrow, they're going to be weaker because you didn't give them enough time, right? So there's that Goldilocks zone, and the Goldilocks zone, assuming you're getting enough sleep and assuming you're not running marathons in between your workouts, the Goldilocks zone is typically 48 to 72 hours after your workout, you train again.
So it's kind of like less is more. You know, I think we just live in this world where we think like more is more, more, more. Even like I'm like more videos, more this, more that. But yeah, less is more. Look at this, right?
So now again, you find someone who is providing adequate stimulus in the first place. Very rare. Find someone who's providing adequate rest on a consistent basis. There's so few people that are training that smart.
Yeah.
Let alone who's eating just the right amount of calories. Most people, like I said, they underdo it or they overdo it. So when you get these factors right, and then the mindset too, like I see myself as someone who's got a sick physique. Like I've changed how I see myself. I used to see myself as this fat vegan who couldn't seem to lose the last 10 pounds. Before that, I saw myself as this scrawny freaking marathon runner, and it worked. How you see yourself is what you see in the mirror. You know, if you want to know how you've been seeing yourself, go look in the mirror. You clearly have been seeing yourself as this thin blonde woman with long blonde hair and red lipstick. That's how you see yourself. And red nail polish. That's how you see yourself, you know?
Yeah.
You see yourself as this professional podcast host, which you are.
Yeah.
And the reason you are is because you see yourself that way. And a lot of people, they've got the worst self-image. Like
so how do we change that? Say some people are just like, they're seeing themselves the worst and they're just in this hole and they can't get themselves out of it.
Well,
like
first you become aware of it. First you become aware of it. Just you become aware of the fact. Like that chick who said that, oh, it was so hard to do that. It's hard if you believe it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, it's so easy because you give it adequate stimulus, you rest, you do it again. And you can't help it. You'll be stronger. Even if I tried not to get a personal record today, I still get a personal record because I've provided adequate stimulus and I've rested. If you plant a seed in soil, you cover it, you give it adequate water, adequate rest, adequate water, adequate rest, what happens? Sprouts. It can't help it. It can't help it. It doesn't even need to know what's going on. It's just like, oh, I'll sprout because it's given the right conditions. So you got to give your body the right conditions as well. Very few people give their body the right conditions. So anyways, when it comes to changing the mindset, it's just first off, being aware that you have this self-image. And then second off, it's deciding what kind of self-image you want to have of yourself. So it's like picking from a menu. And then third, it's getting over that awkward, embarrassing phase of like talking to yourself as if you are that person. Because if you've been saying you're fat for so long, all of a sudden you saying like, oh, I'm thin now. Like that feels very awkward and very weird. I do this with my clients, my business clients. I say, how much money do you want to make per month? And they say like $5,000. I say, okay, tell me right now that you're making $5,000 a month. And they're like, I'm making $5,000 a month. I'm like, how's that feel? It's like weird. Like it can't feel weird. If you want to make $5,000 a month, it can't feel weird. $5,000 a month is nothing.
So how do people like make that not feel weird? Like, you know, because I feel like you need those beliefs for like the life to change, right?
Just like if I gave you dumbbells right now and I told you to do overhead press, if you've never overhead pressed before, it'd feel weird.
Yeah.
But if you overhead press with me 3 times every, you know, or if you trained with me twice a week, the overhead press would feel pretty good eventually. So you got to get the reps in.
Yeah.
So you have to get the reps in. Look in the mirror and be like, my body's amazing. I look so good. Holy smokes. Is that me? Wow. Like that body is incredible. You just got to keep hyping yourself up like that over and over and over again. And you just get the reps in. And yeah. And if anyone thinks this is like hokey pokey or whatever, do the opposite. See what happens. Start calling yourself a piece of shit. Start calling yourself a loser. Start calling yourself an idiot. And notice the results that come from that. It's like right away, you start to realize, wow, how I talk to myself is actually what starts to present itself back to me.
It's scary, but then it's actually good because it's like we can create and change this, but then sometimes it's like scary because it's like, oh no, we can actually like.
It's scary if you're undisciplined with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be scary if you're undisciplined with it, but it's very empowering when you realize that you have the power. And with great power comes great responsibility. So
yeah. And do you do affirmations? Like, do you listen to affirmations before bed or when you wake up, or do like vision boards or no?
I listen to a vision script of my perfect life. And
Nice.
on that vision script, there's a sentence in there that says Ted Carr has the body of a magazine model,
I
a
love it.
magazine cover model. And this
Mhm.
was written like 6 months ago before I had what I have now. So I
Wow.
just kept listening to it and seeing it. And then when it says Ted Carr has the body of a magazine cover model, I would see myself looking in the mirror and being like, whoa. And now I see myself in the mirror and I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
I did the same thing with my Tesla. I said Ted Carr drives a black Model 3 Tesla. And when he gets in, he loves the smooth acceleration. And I made it so
Wow.
detailed. And I wrote that well before I had a Tesla, but I kept listening to that over and over and over again. Listening to it right before bed. It's like a 5-minute script of my perfect life. And it describes Ted Carr, the
Like on an
perfect
app,
version.
like you like
I just voice
record.
recorder, voice
Yeah.
recorder.
Yeah, I have this app, it's called I Am, and you can like record
Cool.
your own stuff. So I do that too and listen to stuff. And like I think it works. I was listening to this like a couple months ago, one night. I was like, "Okay, I'm going to sleep with it and see if it works and listen to this like financial affirmation about money." And then I woke up and I had like a random deposit in my account from like an old friend that had betrayed me, being like, "I'm so sorry, here's some money." I was like, "This is weird," because I like just slept in it that night.
And people, and this is the thing with these sorts of things. At first, a lot of people will say that would have happened anyway. They would have sent you the money anyway.
Yeah, I
And
know.
then the second time it happens, you say, well, I just got lucky. It's a coincidence.
Yeah.
Third time it happens, you'd be like, well, it's just, serendipity. It's just, we're in sync, whatever. The fourth time it happens, you're like, that's just a miracle. Wow, I can't believe it happened. But it's
Yeah.
hard to make that connection between, no, it's happening because of this.
Mhm.
Here's the cause. And it's
Yeah.
hard to believe that that's the cause. Because if it is the cause, which it is, then it means you truly do have the power. And we
Mhm.
often give up our power. We say, no, the
Mhm.
power is external. The power must be in Gillian, and the power must be in my my landlord or my mom or my dad. But so no, it's like I have the power.
Because I think sometimes things can just feel so far from what people want, and then they just feel like they give up, and they're just like it's so hard for them to like pretend and like try and like even have any more hope that things can change, whether it's for like health, finances, or whatever.
And it's also hard for them to look around and be like, well, if I truly am the creator of my reality, then why would I create this? Why would I create that?
Mhm.
I wouldn't have created this sore leg or this sore hamstring. I wouldn't have created this shoulder. I wouldn't have created this disease. I wouldn't have created this relationship. It's just how these things happen to me. And they go into like victim mode because they don't want to believe that they're creator. It's just easier to go along as the victim, or so they think.
Mhm.
But no, that nighttime vision thing, man. I get all my clients to do it, and the clients who do it, they get the best results.
Wow. Do people
They
ever
get
come to you and they're like, "Ted, oh my God, this just happened because I
yeah,
started doing this."
100%. Like people start signing up for my membership, starting to get way more sales now. Yeah, I get that's probably the best feedback I've gotten from any clients of anything I've ever asked them to do. Whether I ask them to post on social media, whether I ask them to brainstorm a new offer or something, or I get them to like change up their office or whatever. No, the best feedback I get from them on a consistent basis is from the people who write out their vision and they listen to it every night.
Mhm. Wow. Wow.
It
There's
just
really
seeps
something
in.
to it.
It seeps into the subconscious and makes its way into reality.
Yeah, I love it. I love talking to you about that stuff. And okay, so yeah, any advice for anybody out there who like maybe they're vegan and they've been struggling, they can't get these results you have, or they want to start, where to start?
Where to start? Where to start? I would take a look at go on Google Images, or maybe you're on Instagram, and just find the body that you like. Make sure it's not someone on steroids, because that would be, maybe hard to attain naturally.
Mhm.
Unless you want to do roids, then go ahead, do roids like
Yeah,
that.
if you want to do them, go ahead,
But
Yeah.
get the image, create the image of the person you want to look like, and then you can take it the next step, and you can Photoshop your face onto that body.
I like
So
it. I'm all about this stuff. Yeah. Good advice.
that would be the first one. Just you gotta have the vision, you gotta have the image of what you're trying to accomplish. And that's if you're trying to create like a certain looking physique. If you're just trying to get healthy, whatever, do anything, it'll probably work. But if you're trying to create that certain physique, it does help to have that image. And then you go and find out how that person's training, or you look at certain body parts and you say, well, I like their shoulders. So what are like the top shoulder exercises to create that shoulder? And you just binge watch YouTube videos for days and days and days until it becomes so obvious that, there's only a couple exercises you can do to grow the shoulders, and you only need a few of them, and you just got to hit them once or twice a week, and you're good. So I would just start with the image and then work backwards from there.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. And okay, so this is my new thing. I like to ask people, say everything was ending tomorrow and you could leave behind 3 books, your 3 favorite, most inspiring books that you just think have changed your life or whatever, and one quote. What would that be?
Everything's ending. What do you mean everything's ending?
Well, just everything's everything's
Who
ending
am I
for
leaving these
you, I
books to?
guess, Ted, unfortunately. And you had to leave behind. It's kind of
All
dark
right.
and dreary, so I don't want to say it that way. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, let's go. How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Oh, I've never read that one.
Must.
Mhm.
Must.
Audible or read? Is it better?
Audible.
Okay.
The narrator is amazing. How to Win Friends and Influence People, for sure. I got a whole book list. You can link it below if you want, but yeah, let's just I'll give you that one, and if you want to link the book list, I can give it to you. It's gonna be
Yeah,
down
I will
below.
for sure. Yeah, I'll link whatever.
And in terms of the quote, well, let's go along with what we were just saying, and that is, circumstances don't matter. Only my state of being matters.
So true. I love it, Ted. You've got so much depth to you. I love it. I just love who you are. I think you're so awesome. And yeah, this has been great. I've loved having you on. And to the viewers, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, give it a big thumbs up right now. And make sure to subscribe if you don't already. And go follow Ted everywhere. And if you feel like you need a coach and he could change your life, then go hire him as a coach. Who knows? You could just totally manifest the life of your dreams. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.